In this video, we're going to talk about the only diet that has killed more people than starvation, what it means for you, and if you're interested in working with us, go ahead and click the link below. But I'm going to stay as objective as possible, even though much of this is fairly heavy and some of it philosophical in nature. So, but it doesn't take all that much research to figure this out, or to prove, or for you to look up and prove that I am telling the truth or not, essentially. But do a quick Google search and you'll find that multiple parents are in prison right now for killing their kids because they weren't willing to let their child eat or consume anything that wasn't a vegan product. The reality is that you are designed to eat meat. The reason that your brain is so big is because you did eat protein. More on that here in a little bit. And this idea that somehow you have more in common with a herbivore than you do with a carnivore is just objectively silly. When our ancestors got kicked out of the trees and there's a separation between the chimpanzees and what we are now, we're scrounging around, and during that time, that area of Africa that we all originated started to dry up. This is the leading theory around why our brains grew, the two of them. A leading theory in anthropology for why our brains grew. So the area of Africa where we're all originated starts to dry up. We immediately have to go from animals that primarily eat plants and a few other animals to there's less plants, so now we have to eat more animals and less plants, right? All of a sudden the increased protein, brain increases over hundreds and thousands of years probably. Not hundreds of thousands of years, but hundreds of years. And at some point, our brains grow so big that we actually figure out how to make fire. When we make fire, all of a sudden we're able to cook our food. It creates a different taste profile. When we cook our food, all of a sudden it's partially digested already, which means our bodies don't have to work so hard to actually get the calories from the food. When this happens, our digestive tract shrinks, and when it shrinks, we can put more energy towards our brain. Our brain grows again. All of a sudden, consciousness. Amazing, right? Great stuff. So the leading reason that you have a very short digestive tract that eats a lot of protein, and that's the reason that you are the way that you are. We are the descendants of these people, of these, I don't even know if they, of these animals. These are our ancestors. So you are designed, your DNA, this adaptation that happened, thousands of years ago, is still in us. This is there. This is stuff that we can't not, on some level take into consideration. Now, another perspective is that you're taking a life to sustain your own. Yeah, you are. When you eat a steak, a life was given for you to be able to eat that steak. That steak is allowing you the sustenance and the nutrition in order for you to live your life. Now, the same is true with a potato or a tomato or spinach or celery or whatever other plant that you're eating. A life was still taken, and you could say that the plant wasn't sentient. However, in the late 80s, early 90s, we proved that plants do feel pain. So just because the potato didn't scream when you plucked it out of the ground doesn't mean that there wasn't pain involved. Not only this, but a life was still taken regardless. So is it immoral for you to eat the plant? If it's immoral to eat the animal, then it's immoral to eat the plant. And I would contend that that you're not a jerk for consuming for the life taken to sustain your own. The jerk isn't the person who took the life to sustain their own life. The jerk is the person who didn't appreciate the life taken for them to sustain their own. And this does give more credence to what you're giving back for the life taken. Like if I'm going to eat a steak, or I'm going to eat, I'm going to take a life to sustain my own, then I have an obligation to the rest of the world to make my life something that gave back, right? That life was given for me to be able to do something with my life. I have to make that death worth it. So are you immoral? I think there's something to wrestle with around that whole topic, and I do not think that you're immoral to sustain your own life unless you're going to waste your own life and not appreciate the life taken to sustain your own. Now, animal cruelty, there is, I understand, animals in cages, walking around their own poop, real terrible. Two things around this. Nothing is more cruel than nature. If you watch the Animal Planet or you grew up on a farm like me, you probably saw animals die. Watch the Animal Planet, you'll see animals getting eaten alive on a regular basis. That's pretty, I mean, you think slaughtering house is cruel when they kill an animal. Like, think of getting nibbled to death by a wolf. Nothing is more cruel than nature. So we can rule that one out. So what about the digestive tract with the resemblance to other animals? I know we touched on this just a second ago, but if you take a herbivore, how many stomachs does a herbivore have? They have multiple stomachs. A herbivore is able to take the cellulose out of the grass or the plant and turn it into muscle. We are not able to do anything with cellulose. We don't have multiple stomachs like a cow has. So we have to eat the cow in order to get the nutrition that the cow gained from the grass. A carnivore has one stomach. How many stomachs does a human have? One. The herbivore doesn't have the ability to break down proteins like we do. The carnivore does. Humans also have that ability to break down protein. We have much more in common with the carnivore than we do with the herbivore. We are designed to eat meat. All humans, especially the vegans, would feel better with even if it's just 1/4 of a pound of grass-fed beef every day. They would feel a lot better in a short amount of time. And even the highest, most the biggest promoters of the vegan diet still say that you're going to have to supplement with some kind of B complex, maybe some iron, something, in order to live that life. Now, there are areas of the world who do eat a primarily vegan diet, right? So, okay, so how are they able to pull it off? Well, they have a culture built around thousands of years of eating, and that wasn't intentional. It's not like they intended to make a vegan diet. It was how that area of the world was able to cope with their environment. And the only people that lived were the ones that figured out how to make it nutritional enough to sustain their own life in order to procreate. So this is not what we have in the United States. We don't really have a culture around food, and if we do, it's probably not very good. Okay, last bit. What's the solution? What's the solution? Okay, so if you say, well, animal cruelty, the life to sustain your own, the herbivore, omnivore, you're like, okay, well, I don't know what to do then. What would you suggest? Well, this is where grass-fed farms come in. If you get into a grass-fed farm or a polyface farm, these are places where the animal is grown in a more humane way. I hate saying it like that, but a more humane way. It's less cruel. They're more in line with nature. They're eating a diet profile that is more in line with what they would have eaten, that agrees with their genetics. The nutrition is better for you all around. Like, this is why the environment is better, the economical situation is better, the health is better, the health of the animal, the health of the food that you do eat, the effect on you that you do have from this food. All of it is better. The solution is grass-fed farms. So anyway, those are some perspectives around the vegan diet. Obviously, we are not big promoters of such silliness. And I hope that you can see that this was all just objective. If you want to be a pretentious, if you want to live the life of the vegan that has gained its reputation as being pretentious, that's what I meant to say there, go for it. I mean, it's your life. I mean, I don't care what you do, but it is not possible to be vegan and be and for health reasons. I mean, it's just really, really silly. I would be hard pressed to not say that eating lots of plants is not good for you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the lack of animal products in the vegan diet is just silly. You can still be plant-based and eat meat. You're just eating a lot of plants along with the meat that you do eat. Anyway, these are some perspectives. Do with them what you will. If you're interested in working with us, go and click the link below.